to Hypothetical Discussions with the Gray Matters blog. I'm Gray, and today we're going to be discussing one of my favorite hypothetical questions. It's only one this time because it's a long-form one, and that's going to be, if you could choose a ship and crew to go adventuring in literally any universe, which one would you choose? Full explanation and caveats by the end, as always. In this video, I am going to not only break down all what your actual options are, I'm also going to be letting you know what all my choices would be for each individual position. So, without further ado, here are the actual caveats for this question. First of all, you are going to be choosing a ship, a captain, a first mate, a security officer, an engineer, a doctor, and a crew. You're also going to be choosing a universe that you're going to take this ship and crew into. Here is your first major caveat. You are not allowed to pick the same universe twice. So if you pick Star Wars for your captain, you cannot pick Star Wars for your ship. If you are choosing to adventure in Warhammer 40K, then you cannot pick any characters or ships from Warhammer 40K. That's going to be our first main caveat. The second caveat is that if something is literally omnipotent, it is not allowed. So something like Q from Star Trek would not really be allowed, although someone like Superman would be allowed because while he is insanely powerful, he is incredibly powerful, he's not literally omnipotent. So for our first position, we're going to be discussing our ship. Now, this can be any ship from any universe, and it's going to be the main conveyance. It's also going to kind of level your technology and how that's going to interact with your world around you, because if you pick something very high-tech, that's going to give you an advantage if you're in, say, a low-tech environment when you choose where you're going. And for my choice, I am going to choose Sovereign from Mass Effect, and I am aware that is an incredibly dangerous choice. He is a villain, and he is incredibly dangerous, but he is also incredibly powerful. For those who are not familiar with him, he is a living ship that is able to control people's minds through a process called indoctrination. But don't worry, I'm going to take care of that with the rest of my crew. Now we're going to talk about our captain. This is, of course, your leader. He should be fairly knowledgeable. He should be fairly good with people. He should be fairly good at interpersonal relationships. And for that, I am going to pick Professor X from the X-Men. Of course, Professor Charles Xavier. And I am specifically picking him for his powerful mental abilities. I feel like he is going to be able to help keep the rest of this crew in check, because we are going to be having some massive problems with people in this crew, because when I get there, you'll see why. The second person, the first mate, the first officer, if you will, is going to be Yoda for me. He is, of course, going to be the one that backs up your captain, the one that is the captain when your captain is not able to perform his duties. I'm picking Yoda. Yoda is not only of course, from Star Wars, and he is not only an incredibly powerful combatant, he is also an incredibly kind, incredibly empathetic, incredibly good at making friends. Of course, if you've ever seen like the first few episodes of Star Wars Clone Wars, you'll see how he just immediately brings people together. That combined with his force powers, I feel like he is going to actually probably be my main leash I'm going to be putting on Sovereign. Big part of Yoda's job is going to be to make friends with the ship and keep him in line. Then we're going to look at our engineer, and I need someone with a lot of tech ability for an obvious reason that will become more obvious as we go, and for me, that's going to be Cyborg from DC. Not only does he inherently have a lot of technology, but he is also really good at interfacing with technology, and even in a lot of the later stuff, he makes his own technology. He has become an inventor in his own right. Also, in some of the interpretations, he has the access to boom tubes, which are basically subspace teleportation, so that would be very useful for us. For my crew, and this is one of the things I've been alluding to that I'm going to need a lot of help controlling, I am picking a Borg collective. Now, what are the criteria for you picking a crew? They have to be a rank and file. This has to be this cannot be individuals. You're not going to get to pick specific people. If you pick, for instance, Starfleet, you're going to get a generic Starfleet crew. If you pick the Empire from Star Wars, you're going to get stormtroopers and the standard ship crew. You're going to get just the standard type of people, and that is why I am picking the Borg collective. So we'll have a small Borg crew. Now combine that with the engineering from Cyborg, and I think we're going to rock this world with the nanites. Now, for my security officer, I think we're going to have a lot of fun having the security officer be Superman, Kal-El. And I think the reason that that's going to be really interesting is because we are, of course, going to be choosing a spacefaring world, and I'm going to be going from different stars in different places, and I feel like when he is not around a yellow star, he is going to be less OP, and when he is around one, he's going to be incredibly OP. And I feel like that dynamic of us needing to strategize and whenever we are fighting our most powerful enemies, make sure he has an access to yellow sunlight is going to be a really interesting just dynamic to have in our story. Then, of course, we have your doctor, who is going to be someone who is, of course, going to handle the medical needs of your crew. If any sort of medical tech type stuff needs to be addressed, they're also going to be addressing that. And I'm cheating a little bit here because I am choosing Dr. Stephen Strange. And he is technically a doctor and has medical skills, but also I really need a magical worker. You'll find out why whenever I tell you where I'm going to be taking this crazy shipping crew. Of course, finally, where am I taking this crew to? The Warhammer 40k universe. We are going to attempt to do good in one of the most grim, dark, horrific universes ever put to paper, and we're going to take a halfway Suicide Squad crew of villains being held together by the sheer will of the few heroes on the crew, and we are going to try to stay one step ahead of chaos and actually see if we can turn the Imperium of Man into something that is not a hellscape. So anyway, that is my ship, that is my crew, and that is going to be our adventure. I would watch the hell out of that show. So let me know in the comments which universe you would pick, which ship you would pick. Give me your entire breakdown. Let me know what you think of mine. Let me know what mistakes you think I made. And also let me know what other hypotheticals you'd like to hear me talk about. If you want to hear a bunch of other hypotheticals that I've done, there is the link in our bio that will take you to everywhere we are. Predominantly TikTok is actually where I do a lot of these hypotheticals, but we're trying to migrate here. But if you wanted to go check me out there, follow me there, you could see a lot of the short form hypotheticals I could do, and let me know which ones you'd like to see me do over here. As always, we are trying to grow over here on YouTube. So if you could like and subscribe, that would really help us out. So let me know what you think, and thank you for joining us.